Hi, welcome back to my channel. Sorry about the laptop that's kind of pointing in. I have tried to rearrange the situation so I don't have that there, but it's not possible, so we're gonna have to just pretend it doesn't exist. So let's do that. That's what I have to do about my problems in life. No, I'm joking. Don't do that, it doesn't work. So anyway, habits. The external I have done habits tracking over the last week or so intermittently, and it's really helped me out to sort of identify why things happen and stuff. And I'm going to do a video on the fact I've realised that all things work together for good, in terms of I've realised I things about myself kind of come together for good, and I'm going to do a video which involves other people and not just myself. I've got videos to come, but let's get on to habits. I will not ramble. I'll talk specifically about my experience. I'll probably ramble a bit, but I'll try to keep it to the picture, which is that, and keep it interesting. So it's mainly been able to make me see where I'm getting my range of emotion from through my activities. And it's not necessarily made me cut out that many things, if anything, to be honest. It's just made me sort of see where I get my kicks and maybe where I'm most productive in the day, just because of my physiology or whatever. I do think some people, as they say, some people like night birds, some people are evening birds. It just depends on the type of person you are and sort of where you tend to get your energy, whether it's even comes down to introversion and extroversion, whether you prefer being out in a group. That's getting onto something else. I'm sort of beginning to ramble, which is not a place for me to be. It's very early in the morning. So sort of disregarding, like, in terms of habits, okay, that's not relevant for that. So let's just talk about specifically my habits. For example, I watched YouTube at 8 o'clock in the morning, and for this, it's good to write down the emotion that's connected. So I would put comfort and dread at the same time in that situation, because I've been watching a lot of YouTube and I'm starting to feel unproductive. And I put a comment on that, which was, because I'm having no interaction, perhaps at that time in life, my note was, and it doesn't matter what it is, I think for this sort of thing, you have to just write down what comes to mind and not be worried about how it sounds or anything like that. Obviously, not that most people would care that much, but just write down. No interaction. I felt like I was in some way mimicking school, learning and watching something. I'm trying to be positive through a situation where I'm sort of trying to get something from a situation where I'm trying to learn. I do like to learn. I'm an INTP and personality type, which means I like to learn. And safety. I thought I had a sense of safety from others because I've had a toxic relationship recently, and a feeling of healing because I am very interested in the sort of informational type videos, especially on things like trauma, which is what I share on my channel when I find something really interesting. So that is an example of one aspect. So I guess it's not, I'll probably put a couple of other ones as well in a minute, but I think in terms of, let's just go for a couple of others just for the sake of what I mean about finding different emotions and different things. For example, later on in that day, I did a few other things, but then I did a few other, later in the day, it was like, I did food shopping, which was purposeful as a description, shopping for work stuff, which was relaxing, felt like I was working and was creative, so that was more of a craft shop type thing, looking for materials and stuff. And then I went to the pub. Nice day. I went to the pub with, every day should be a nice day. I went to the pub and had hot chocolate with my laptop, feeling social and happy. So that is just, and then, yeah, and then you can do stuff that connects to your spirituality as well. For example, watching light in the park. Oh, I think that means sometimes in the morning. Nice tip for anyone that has time in the morning, doesn't have kids or any other obligation. It's nice to go to the park and watch the sun come up. I've started doing that in lockdown, and it's kind of been a bit of a thing where if I have the motivation to do it, I might even do it this morning because it's still dark outside. And that helped me feel a sense of relaxation, connection to nature, holy, calm, spiritual. So, yeah, that's quite a range of needs filled in different activities. And I think if it's something you're planning to do, I would say don't force yourself to do every single activity because it really doesn't matter. But I find just kind of write down when it works for you to sort of track these sort of things, and it'll just make you, I feel like I had this sort of like trust in like intuitive action. Obviously, monetary stuff aside, having a job is one aspect of monetary gain. But I think intuitively being in touch with your needs, it's just really given me a sense of trust in like doing what I feel is right, and how that has actually served me really well, and I'm able to meet my needs by doing that. Obviously not everyone works from an intuitive sense. We even know in the personality type thing, if you've ever seen that. Some people are intuitive and some people are work on thinking, or they like to structure what they do, or they're sensory or something, so they like to plan what they do and that's the way they work. So this could work for other people in that sense. I never think tracking a like set of habits is ever bad. You can also habit stack once you sort of, and if you've seen my part 1, I talk about working out what's working and what's not. If something you are doing comes across as really negative, like that is, or unuseful in whatever way, it can be that you don't do that anymore. Might just not do it anyway, even without the habit journal. But you can cut things out. You can implement new things if you realise you sort of are deficiting in an area. I saw a video today which talked about the life wheel. Let me just get that up. It's really hard to find on Google. Wheel of Life, I think it is. So it hopefully, yeah, that's it. I saw a video on the Wheel of Life, which maybe when I'm editing this I'll put it in, or maybe I'll just describe it, I don't know. But the Wheel of Life consists of a few portions, 8 portions, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 7 portions. The first is career, finance, and this is a nice little thing you can do as well for tracking and business, finance, health, family and friends, romance, personal development, fun and recreation, and contribution to society. So they are the Wheel of Life portions that we should try and have sort of balance in some areas. I definitely think it's not necessarily an attainable aim to have them all balanced at the same time, but in general you might realise you have a deficit in one area, you might have too much in one area, and then it will therefore balance itself out, probably like obviously through natural means. But yeah, you can then, as they say, which I thought was a nice little tip, habit stacking, in terms of if you realise, and I think this is good for getting stuff done, which I'm very, very aware of how we are a culture that thrives on over productivity, and companies love to just generate the mentality of we must do things perfectly. But if you live in real life, you will realise I don't have to clean and hoover my room every day, but if I want to get that done in some way and I don't really want to wait for a wave of intuition to come over me, I can be like, I'm not one of those people where I like to plan the date and time to do it, but it could happen, who knows. But I could be like, habit stacking, you could in theory, and I think it's always good to not overdo yourself physically. So it's a sense of you can clean your room and tidy your room in one portion, you can set some washing on and meal prep in another portion. You can, I don't like put clothes away because I'm one of those people. Do you have a clothes pile? I have a clothes pile most of the time to sort of, you know, get me through living. So I don't like using my drawers every time, especially when there's hamsters in the way. So yeah, you can just sort of like portion out the habits and stack the habits on one another to be able to, you know, get that to work. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Even if it's things like you have a goal for the future, I think because it was a part of a 2-part series, I'm just going to quickly touch on goals. Just that it's always good to write down your goals, especially I would recommend doing sometimes a manifestation meditation while you sleep, because I thought that was really good. It's the frequency of like 532 or something. It genuinely works. Like you sort of you end up manifesting things without thinking about it. I wasn't trying to manifest, didn't even realise it said manifest in the title, but I was like, I'm coming up with all these sort of like thoughts of sort of things, and not thoughts, but it was like, it was just like I was sort of like getting rid of the old and coming into the new with this vibration meditation. I love having meditation music overnight. It really just rejuvenates me. So yeah, that was good. But the main thing I'll end on, it's always good to write down your goals, especially if you have certain goals. You shouldn't, I think there's such a pressure to have goals, and if you're sort of okay with chugging through your life, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to go through this exercise to have a fulfilling goal-driven life or goal-filled life. But it can be good to sometimes, if you come up with these things, jot down a goal that you sort of are thinking about. And if there's a process to do that, for example, if you wanted to pay off your credit cards, it might be good to line up some form of income to supplement that. And that would be a goal. It's one of my goals. So that would be something I'm looking at in the future. I've written that down. I wish I could like get my goal list up, which I don't think I can because it's on my phone and I can't video it at the same time. But thinking off the top of my head, I think a couple of my goals, as I said, is to do. I think I talk about myself all the time, so I'll let that go. Goals can be anything. I thought about I wanted to travel yesterday when I walked past a shop window. There was a nice travel area, travel picture that I saw, and I was like, maybe it'd be nice to like, because I'm one of these people where I've started loving like walking around parks and like being in nature and just going on little walks and just finding myself wherever I am. I would love to sort of explore another country in that way, and just sort of obviously being safe. Sometimes you don't always know what's safe in certain areas, but it'd be nice to go to a certain country, another country, and sort of be familiar with the area and know that it's safe, and then be able to sort of explore in that way. On my own probably. It'd be nice to maybe go with a friend at some point, because I know some of my friends would probably be interested in going with me if I was to do that, if they had the money. So that might be something to look into, but yeah, thanks for listening. 2022, can't say it'll be good. Apparently 2020 and 2021 wasn't great. I think that's a pessimistic attitude. I didn't have that attitude. I know a lot of people did. But life's what you make it at the end of the day, so there we go. Thanks for listening. Bye.